Welcome and welcome back for all those who are new and returning to the channel. I'm Mike, and today I'll be discussing with you the stages of the narcissistic abusive cycle. I'll be breaking it down for you step by step, typically as I see it and how others see it, and how you carry on, how you process and not ruminate in what once was after all is said and done. However much progress you have made on this path, whether it's a day or a decade, we're all in this together. I assure you of that, and you are not alone. So please like while you're at it here. Comment your own thoughts, opinions, wisdom down in the comment section. And please subscribe. Thank you very much. So let's just get into it. So the honeymoon, euphoric stage, the golden stage, as I hear others call it, there are many different ways of viewing it, but that's basically what it sounds like. The narcissist wants to entrap you in this euphoric, trance-like state, and they want to keep you stuck there and blissfully unaware, ignorant of what is to come, which is the devaluation stage. I'll get to that in a moment. But during the euphoric stage, the narcissist will be complimenting you day in and day out, overly complimenting and pretending to relate to you. I mean, if you bond with someone and you share common interests, that's one thing, but the narcissists will just placate to any and all interests, hobbies that you enjoy, that you value, whatever it is, politics, religion, sports, lack thereof. The narcissist will say, I'm not that political either, and then what do you know? They are, but they always go back on their word. That's for later, okay? But they're going to warm up to you in that regard. They're just going to be like, yes, yes, yes to everything. Just as you said yes, yes, yes to them in that honeymoon stage. If they needed you for something, you would drop everything that you were doing in that moment, no matter how important it was, and you would go ahead and do that thing for that narcissist or that toxic person. Maybe it's a narcissistic coworker or a toxic boss that you weren't working well with, didn't have good chemistry with. It could be a friend who has changed dramatically throughout the years. Okay, that you don't recognize them anymore. And the same can be said for the romantic context. They're not the same as they were when you met them. So this is when we start to get into the devaluation stage, right? When, as by the name, the narcissist devalues you day in and day out, whether you know it or not. Sometimes they'll do it covertly, sometimes they'll do it overtly. And what do I mean by devaluing you? I mean making anything from making subtle comments about how you should do more, to pulling back, to not, showing as much love, care, affection, things that you gave them, time, love, energy, value, in whatever capacity that they view it, intrinsic value or whatever. Value to them is just supply. They don't value values like we do. You see, they value supply, which is a whole different type of thing, okay? And supply can be anything. It could be a car, like the ones whizzing by me right now. It could be people. It could be a kid. It could be a parent. It could be a coworker. It could, it's anything. A pet. or a place. Whatever the narcissist puts value in, basically. So the supply, what comes to mind first? Well, they are more interested in what you can provide for them, which is materialistic things such as your bank account or your wallet or your purse or whatever. Whatever you can provide for them. The endless phone sessions wherein you had to listen to their problems. I mean, not that you had to, but you did it because you thought that you loved them, or you thought that you cared about them, just as you thought that they may have for you, when in fact you were unfortunately mistaken. But it happens to the best of us. That's what you can't be ruminating in, okay? It happens in all ways, shapes, and forms with all different types of people. No matter how popular you are, no matter how rich or poor, no matter where you live, no matter how many significant others you've ever had in your life, it happens. It happens. Being devalued, and then what's after the devaluation stage, where it also, before I move on to the discard or the exit plan, the narcissist will make new rules. Like, instead of like talking every day or every other day, they'll start to pull back and contact you maybe weekly, if they even bother to, or they'll not answer the phone as much. They might say call or text after 7 or 8, something like that. And then once you do that, they don't answer, they don't hold their end of the bargain, whatever. I digress. So let's get into the last and final stage, is the exit plan or the discard. It can either be voluntary, but most of the time it's not. The narcissist sets the time and the place and the plan in which to do so. Maybe they pack their things overnight and they leave you in an empty house or an apartment. Maybe the narcissist just ghosts and flakes entirely forever. Maybe the narcissistic boss will just can you in favor of the person who is not doing their end of the bargain on the job, who gets all the promotions, etc., when you should be getting that. You were really the hard worker, but the narcissist plays favorites, right? So that's one way of looking at it. Or an alternative way to look at it, the discard happens in many different ways, or you may be pushed to rage quit, or this is what I'd like to also get into, the fourth and final stage, as I'd like to call it, is the reverse discard. It's when the narcissist devalues you so much, so to the point that you cannot, you cannot bear their SHIT anymore. They push you to that point where you want to walk out on them. And then ultimately, when you do so, there you go. They didn't have to do all the dirty work, did they? They wanted you to cave. So in some ways, the reverse discard is even worse than the discard. The narcissist wants you to just cave in and be emotional and be reactive, when in fact you should just be responsive, or at least respond in a different way. Respond with silence, respond with indifference. Like they were indifferent with you. They didn't care about you at the end, in the long run. they cared about themselves, and that's how human nature is. You gotta vet people much more closely. This is what I say in all of my videos. Pretty much. You have to take care of your health, your well-being. The narcissist won't care for you when you can't get out of bed. Your back kills you like mine does. When you're in the hospital, when someone else is in the hospital, they don't care. Even when you set boundaries with them, they'll break them. That's why you gotta keep them up high and mighty. I still stand by that, and I will still preach it. In 2026, in 2036, so on and so forth. But I'm gonna wrap up this video, but just know that your boundaries are worth more, and your health and well-being are worth far more than the narcissist. And I know that the word narcissist is thrown around a lot like candy nowadays, but you know what you went through, okay? You know who the narcissist is in your life. So you did the right thing. You saw them for what they were, a toxic creature hell-bent on destroying you, okay? And that's not being dramatic. That's the brutal reality of it. But have high hopes for yourself that good things will come to you in turn. Keep doing good things for others. Don't stop being nice. Don't stop being yourself, or improve upon yourself. You know, have higher boundaries, or hang out with better people. Whatever you gotta do, make those changes, make that change. But until then, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. This is Mike. God bless you all. Take care, and goodbye.